Welcome back to the continuing story of the 2004 Pirates. Well, tonight the boys face probably their stiffest test of the year with the visit of the in-form Witches from Ipswich. Well, the Witches are currently number 3 in the Elite League, but away from home they've won more than any of the other Elite League contenders. And the Pirates will certainly be on their guard with no less than 2 of the Witches' former Pirates themselves, of course, Scott Nicholls and Hans Andersen. Well, what can I tell you about the last 7 days? It's been something of a stormy 7 days for the Pirates after being run to their closest victory here at Wimborne Road last week against Coventry. The fans were clearly very vocal about what they saw as the opportunity for changes amongst the Pirates. And despite their fears, I have to say the Pirates on Friday pulled off a major coup by drawing at Peterborough, even though they were without their Grand Prix stars Ryan Sullivan and Bjarne PEDERSEN.
Yeah, we had a good meeting, you know. Obviously it would have been really good to see Ryan going around there with the Pirates jacket on, but and Bjarne as well. So all the boys put in a good effort, you know, and we all ended up with quite a few points each. So unfortunately we just missed out there, but you know, hopefully, you know, things are turning for us, you know. So, well, myself especially. So see what happens.
Well, I have to say it was a successful night for you with 8 points under your belt.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. You know, I had a few engine problems and one thing after another, but yeah, 8 points is a lot better than my last performance around here.
And tonight, of course, an important fixture with the IPSWICH Witches in town. I've got to say that a lot resting on this one, I guess.
Yeah, well, they're up top of the league with us, you know, and they must be a pretty good, strong team, you know, to be up there. So, yeah, can't take it too easy.
Okay, well, good luck tonight. Let's hope it turns around.
All right, thanks, mate.
Well, clearly that was an excellent result up at Peterborough. But I have to say the Pirates fans were not happy. They wanted blood, they wanted changes, and the website positively lit up with comments about the Pirates' performance from last week. And clearly the management were going to have to think about it, and they were going to have to think of whether or not they were able to make those changes.
No, that's right. I mean, I can see a little bit of a grievance there, but at the end of the day, you know, we're still top of the league. So, yeah, there's a couple of guys who are underperforming, but hopefully, you know, we can sort that out.
I have to say that, and we just spoke to Jason, the performance at Peterborough was a lot better. You were very close to actually winning it there, except for the last race when they turned it around. Was that the start of the change that you're looking for? Yeah,
well, I hope so. Because I think if anybody said to me prior to the Peterborough match, you know, would you be happy with the draw, I'd have torn their arm off. So, yeah, I was delighted with the result, really, and it was nice to see, you know, everybody scored a few points, and that was what got us a draw. I mean, we were a little bit unfortunate not to win, but then, you know, Peterborough had a couple of engine failures, so perhaps they were unfortunate not to win, so it swings and roundabouts.
Now, we've already talked about the importance of this match, obviously a very significant one with the Witches being so much in form. But of course tonight also marks the time when the averages change over, June the 1st, publication of the green sheets. Tell us how you've decided, or how the club has decided, to lay out the team.
Yeah, we try to sort of mix riders who we thought would ride together, you know, well, because obviously it is a team sport, and sometimes, you know, some riders tend to get each other's ways, and so hopefully we've got a nice blend with it this evening. Antonio at 1, Zorro at 2, Jason at 3, Bjarne at 4. So hopefully, you know, obviously Ryan at 5 and Daniel and Davey Watt at 6 and 7. But you know, Davey's obviously injured this evening. But we tried to sort of, as I say, get riders who can ride well together. It's the first meeting, so you know, we may change it again. We'll just have to see what happens.
I know that you're obviously forced into the situation where Antonio and Ryan have to ride at 1 and 5, but it's your choice after that, and presumably putting Bjarne at 4 gives you a bit of strength in heat 14.
Exactly right. That's the thinking on that one, because that can be so crucial. It's proved over the past few meetings that, you know, that can be a win or loss race for us, and as I say, it gives us that little bit of strength.
Okay, now the Pirates obviously are up against it tonight. If they were to underperform, what happens now?
Well, I think, you know, we'd have to sit down seriously, Matt, Mike and myself, and talk about things. I think the riders concerned know what they're up against, and you know, they're all very keen. They're very disappointed. Nobody likes to not score points, so they're very disappointed for themselves, for us as a management, and for the fans. So, you know, hopefully, you know, nobody likes to axe riders, but I'm afraid that, you know, if things don't start to perform any better, we're going to have to think about it, because say we are top of the league and we want to stay there. We've got a tough patch coming up. and we want to try and get a few points from it.
Absolutely right. We've got a tough few days, as you say, ahead of us. And I have to say, full credit to you, though, because last week I know that it was a lot of the decisions that you made that kept the Pirates in there, and it brought that victory home in the end. So you really did play the eighth man's job in that day.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, there's only so much I can do, and as I pulled them together at the end and sort of said, well, you know, I've done all I can do. It's now down to you to finish the job off, and they did. As I say, a win's a win in anybody's book. So, you know, I was just delighted with the win. Would have liked a few more, but we got the bonus point as well. You know, you can't really do better than that.
Okay, well, let's hope that's set them up in good stead for tonight, and we'll see a great result.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thanks, Neil.
Thanks.
Well, hopefully Neil's positive state of mind will enthuse the rest of the Pirates against what is undoubtedly going to be their stiffest test so far this year. But also, the IPSWICH Witches will be confident, and I'm sure that with a couple of familiar faces in the side, they'll be coming here expecting to do well this evening. Well, it's always a pleasure to welcome Chris Louis to Poole, and in particular this year, Chris, great to see you back on a bike.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. You know, it took a little bit to make the decision to come back, but now that I'm back, I'm having a lot of fun.
You certainly proved that it was the right decision because your form has been fantastic. You must be delighted with it.
Yeah, I'm very pleased with how it's going. It's going good for the team, and that always makes it easier to come back into a team that's, you know, performing quite well on its own anyway. So I'm pleased, and it's improving, and obviously got the wild card, so it's all looking quite good.
From a promotional point of view, obviously last year it was a nightmare for IPSWICH, and a lot of the rule changes didn't work in your favour. Presumably this year, no complaints.
No, I think all the rule changes that were made through the winter have benefited every club. I think it's made the racing better, it's brought all the teams, the standard of riders a little bit closer together, and generally made it actually more competitive.
What do you think the principal difference is for the IPSWICH team? Because obviously with yourself in the side, Scott performing so well, is it down to the likes of yourself and Hans, or is it just a real whole team effort?
No, it's a whole team effort. The team that we put together just works better as a team than the team last year. You know, everybody speaks the language easily, everybody gets on, and everybody wants to improve. You know, I mean, obviously I'm the old boy in the team, that just there to keep everyone's feet on the ground if I can, but no, the whole team just wants to win, which makes it a lot easier.
And you mentioned the wild card, of course, and that's a great thing that you've been able to go back to Cardiff. You're a seasoned campaigner in the Grand Prix. That's you're no stranger to that, but it's a first for Cardiff, of course.
No, I've done the first one at Cardiff.
I beg your pardon. So that's me.
So, and I've been closely involved with Sky down there the last couple of years. So, it's nothing new for me, but certainly very excited about being involved again. Yeah.
Yeah. For us watching, it's one of the best meetings of the year. Yeah, he does that. Yeah. For me, it's one of the best meetings of the year. Is that the same for the riders?
Yeah, absolutely. I think all the riders involved in the Grand Prix. It's almost everybody's home Grand Prix because they're all involved here or have been involved here and know a lot of people. And it's just become the mecca for World Speedway. You know, it is the stadium and the event.
Okay, well, good luck tonight. I hope the IPSWICH Witches perform well.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, talking of strange Danish people, the man himself and Hans Andersen, welcome back to Poole.
I actually thought it was Jesper who was talking about being strange Dave, but yeah, it's nice to be back. It's been a while since I was here. We rode it with Peterborough at the beginning of last season, so it's quite a while back.
It does seem it's a long time since we've seen you, but in that time, of course, you've been clawing your way into that heat leader position. You really are now an out-and-out heat leader and number one tonight.
Yeah, like this year, I changed all our machinery, changed engines and everything, and so far it's paid off for the better.
We've seen you this week in a bit of controversy with Lee Richardson on the Sky Television coverage from the Peterborough match just on Monday. I've got to say that I looked at it and I've got to say I agreed with Tony Steele. I would imagine you did too.
Yeah, like he's the referee and he's the one doing the calls. If there would have been anything wrong, he probably would have excluded me or Lee. So I'm not the person who's making a big scene of it. So I'm not worried really.
No, well, I'm glad to hear that, and let's hope that just goes away, as it were. But tonight, obviously, it's a big match for the IPSWICH team. Yeah,
especially after we went down heavily on Monday. It would be nice to come in, win away from home, and break their 100% home record.
I'm sure that's what's on your mind. I'm hoping that you won't do that, but I'm sure you've got other plans.
Yeah, I know. I'll definitely do my bit to bang in a few points, and hopefully tonight we'll have a whole team of riders, not like just a few like we had on Monday. So end of the day, it doesn't matter if only one rider scores maximum. It's still team effort. Like, if a team scores points, they win meetings.
Absolutely right. And well, let's hope for the best for both clubs, and we'll see some great speedway.
Mostly the best for us.
Well, thinking back to the Pirates for a few minutes, and every black cloud has a silver lining. This week may have been a bit of a turbulent one in the Pirates camp, but there was certainly some celebrations called for on Saturday when at the weekend Bjarne PEDERSEN squelched his name onto the Grand Prix stage by winning the European Grand Prix at Wroclaw. Bjarne, a fantastic result. Has it sunk in yet?
You know, that everything was working so good for me that night, so bike was running good and the team around me was working hard for it, and I was pumped up for it, so pleased with that.
You said it was a very long night because you were in Heat 1. Did you think really, or were you able to take each race as it came, or were you really sort of thinking that this was a night when you were going to be able to go all the way?
We was taking one race after one race that night. It's so long way when you're out in Heat 1, and it's the most important is not to get in that eliminator all the time, and everything was working good. You know, I was not out in one of these, so everything was working so good for us.
And I have to say that I was a bit disappointed when you drew the white helmet in Grid 3. Grid 3 hadn't been the best all night. Were you disappointed with that to begin with? No,
that was my manager that was up and take the choice, and he asked me what one I want, and I said I don't care. So, you know, when I get in the semi-final, I feel me so good on the night, and I know I have some really fast bike, and you know, I was not thinking about when he take the white. I think, okay, we are in the final now, and you know, we can win it. So.
Well, you certainly did. Congratulations, and may that be the first of many, I hope.
Hopefully, yeah.
Well, I was certainly one of those people celebrating on Saturday night, along with Bjarne, I'm sure, and I'm sure that just about everybody here at Poole Stadium was also in a celebratory mood. So before we go over and join the action, let's have a look at how the fans welcomed Bjarne back to Poole Stadium, and I'm sure that they're going to be in great voice to give him a real hero's welcome here this evening.
Well, we've had a standing ovation pre-match for Bjarne PEDERSEN for his Grand Prix success. Are we going to have a Pirates performance which generates another standing ovation? It's an absolutely crucial match with the Witches because Pirates have not been at their best on the track for the last few matches. Still managed to pull out the league points from the fire despite that, but with a newly declared team lineup tonight, we face the prospect here of race number 1 with Antonio Lindback in the red helmet, riding in the number 1 race jacket for the first time. His partner and captain in the blue helmet on grid 3 is Magnus ZETTERSTROM for the visiting Ipswich Witches, an old Pirates face here from a couple of seasons ago. Hans Andersen in the green helmet, and the race completed with Kim JANSSON on the wide outside. And immediately it's Hans Andersen who's hot from the tapes to lead Magnus ZETTERSTROM and Antonio Lindback in third. So lap number 1, and the Pirates already looking at a visiting rider blasting around out in front, and the potential for a drawn race, although we've got a problem at the back there for Antonio Lindback, who lost third place to Kim JANSSON by probably and maybe a little naively going wide in the first race, where the outside part of the track presents no racing advantage to the riders over the fresh dirt on the inside. He lost ground but recovered thankfully because Kim JANSSON made a right hash of turn 4, but out in front looking very comfortable on his return to his former haunt here at Wimborne Road. Hans Andersen in the green takes the major share of the spoils for his side by winning race 1 ahead of Magnus ZETTERSTROM and Antonio Lindback, 3 to each side.
on this occasion in the Ipswich with Daniel Davidsson.
So now onto the reserves race, heat number 2, and we've just seen Daniel King, the rider in green for Ipswich, the young lad who's rapidly building up a reputation for himself, having a bit of bike trouble with his own bike, so along comes Scotty Nicholls to rescue him. He's out with Trevor Harding for Poole, Daniel Davidsson, and their guest rider, Brent WERNER. Daniel Davidsson, it is straight out of the tapes there, Ipswich packing in the minor places, and Brent WERNER just at the back there in the blue helmet. Daniel Davidsson looking as if he's going to build upon the good run of form that he's had in recent weeks, and certainly the Pirates are going to need him on form tonight. The rider in yellow, Trevor Harding, is in second place. Daniel King being challenged by Brent WERNER there, and Brent WERNER, the Poole guest for the evening. Premier League regular this season, but someone who has been quite popular of late in the Elite League as a guest. In fact, he was in the Elite League for Bellevue as only just 2 days ago, and he scored 10 points for Bellevue at Wolverhampton, so a sign of the sort of form that he's currently in, although he's looking a little bit tentative in the early stages here. Last half lap, and he's making possibly a last bend challenge around the outside. Could he be about to join Daniel Davidsson? He is indeed, and as a guest rider, that will endear him to the hearts of the Poole Pirates faithful in the stand amongst this bumper bank holiday Whitsun crowd here at Wimborne Road. Brent WERNER and Daniel Davidsson give the Pirates just the start they wanted with a 5-1 in race 2 there in the reserve race. It looked a little bit away from that to start with, but Daniel King was the first victim, and then Trevor Harding on the last bend as Brent WERNER justifiably earns the cheers of the Wimborne Road faithful here, and that means the Pirates are ahead by 8 points to 4.
So congratulations to the Pirates in heat number 2, the full unofficial result of heat number 2, kindly sponsored by...
So just let's have another look at that wonderful pass by Brent WERNER. He's been tracking the opponent Trevor Harding for a lap or two, and on the last bend he screws it on right round the outside, has wonderful speed and takes the checkered flag ahead of his young Australian opponent to give the Pirates maximum points. Great ride. Well, you could have got 66-1 odds on Bjarne PEDERSEN for the Grand Prix in Poland at the weekend, and that would have been a very nice bet. But I think the odds will be slightly shorter on this particular race as Bjarne PEDERSEN lines up in the blue helmet on grid 1 for the Pirates. He's the third of the 3 heat leaders in the new revised lineup, but Neil Middleditch takes advantage of the options available for 3, 4 and 5 positions by putting Jason Lyons at 3, Bjarne PEDERSEN at 4. So Bjarne PEDERSEN in the blue helmet, Jason Lyons is in grid 3 in the red helmet, and for the Witches it's a pairing of Jesper JENSEN in green and the British Grand Prix wildcard selection Chris Louis back in action for the Witches this year, and he's on the wide outside in the yellow helmet. So an evenly balanced race this, and could go either way. Sky viewers will have seen Ipswich rather disappointing at Peterborough a couple of days ago on Bank Holiday Monday, where they lost by 15 points, but Chris Louis took a couple of spirited wins on a pretty difficult sort of track. What's he going to do here tonight? Well, the answer as far as the Pirates are concerned is he's right at the back with Bjarne PEDERSEN and the Danish opponent Jesper JENSEN out in front, with Bjarne PEDERSEN first and Jesper JENSEN being challenged by Jason Lyons there. Jason Lyons poking his wheel up the line but not being able to mount a challenge, so he's in third with Chris Louis now hot on his tail. Bjarne PEDERSEN out in front. The Pirates currently looking at a 4-2 advantage, although Jason Lyons hugging the inside line there, once again not showing particular comfort on the Wimborne Road track, but certainly doesn't apply to his scores elsewhere. He got 7 points up at Peterborough in the Pirates' most recent away match, where they managed to secure a drawn result, which was another couple of Elite League points. But here in this one, around the final bend, Bjarne PEDERSEN continues in Grand Prix style with a win ahead of Jesper JENSEN. Jason Lyons holding on to that third place ahead of Chris Louis. 4-2 heat win, and after 3 races the score stands the Pirates 12 points, the Witches on 6. So can the Pirates continue to build on their encouraging start? They're already 6 up. but of course that could be wiped out mid-meeting by a tactical ride. For now, though, of course, such considerations are not on the cards because it's just a 6-point gap. We've got Brent WERNER in the blue helmet lining up from grid 1. On grid 2 next to him, Trevor HARDING, the rider who Brent so superbly passed on the last bend of heat number 2. Can he do it again this time, or better still, will he be out in front as far as the Pirates are concerned? Completing the lineup, we've got Ryan Sullivan in the red helmet on grid 3, and his second comeback match after that rather nasty leg injury. We've got Scotty Nicholls on grid 4 in the green helmet. Away they go. Ryan Sullivan gets a absolutely cracking start there, while for Ipswich, the rider in blue, Trevor HARDING, tumbles on the first bend, and so Ryan Sullivan out in front has to shut off because the red light's on. The referee stops that race in the interest of safety. It looked very much to me as if Trevor HARDING was unable to pick himself up, and we'll just have to now wait and see whether that's first bend bunching, or was it perhaps an excludable offence for a rider who was not a victim of any incident on the first bend. So time for the rerun, and referee Paul Carrington unsympathetic to any representations by Trevor HARDING, whose sprint back to the pits must obviously have been to try and plead his case for inclusion in the restart. It wasn't to be, so there's 3 riders only up at the tapes, and it excludes that rider in yellow, the reserve for Ipswich, Trevor HARDING. So just Scott Nicholls to fight their corner, and he's out against Ryan Sullivan and Brent WERNER. Brent WERNER it is in the blue helmet, Pirates guest for the night. Still some clarification, I think, needed about Andre Compton's absence. First of all, big press coverage that he was going to be riding for the Pirates. Next minute, he disappears off to Spain. So we'll await further developments on that one, but we'll wait no further for the restart of Heat 4, because Ryan Sullivan once again jets to the front with Scotty Nicholls in hot pursuit. Ryan out there turning on the style. Scott Nicholls still riding himself back into fitness, although that leg has recovered sufficiently for him to be riding again. I don't think anyone who has seen the TV coverage would say that Scott's 100% yet, and his riding style probably would say that to us anyway. But he's sticking in there in second place with Brent WERNER sizing up the track, having a little look at Scott, and well, could he possibly be looking for another last bend? He would be a hero if he got anywhere near Scott Nicholls, and with a lap to go, I certainly don't think that is the case. But nevertheless, the Pirates will be happy with another heat victory, although of course this will mean that they'll now be the dreaded 8 points ahead, so Mike Smiley could get his thinking cap on and his tactical changes and tactical rides come into play. But for now, it's the cheers of the crowd for Ryan Sullivan taking the fourth heat for the Pirates, and it gives them a 4-2, giving the Rios Pirates 16 points and the Ipswich Witches back on 8. So Mike Smiley didn't have to put his thinking cap on for very long, because he immediately nominates Hans Andersen as a tactical ride in race number 5. Hans Andersen then will go in grid 3 with a black and white helmet, not to be confused with his partner with a yellow and black helmet, who goes from grid 1. That's Kim Janssen. The Pirates pairing, Jason Lyons in the red helmet goes from 2, and Bjarne PEDERSEN on gate 4. So can Hans Andersen do something about the Pirates' 8-point lead? Not too many people in the stadium would have believed that the Pirates, with their recent form, and Ipswich with their good form this season, there would have been 8 points between them after just 4 races. Well, they won't be after 5 races, because the way Hans Andersen went in Heat 1, he'll be looking at trying to take the full 6 points here. And of course, if he wins from the 2 Poole riders, that will be a 6-3 heat win. But the Pirates will have other ideas, as they're under orders for this crucial Heat 5. Away they go, and Jason Lyons gets a good one from 2. Bjarne PEDERSEN gets a similarly good gate from 4, leaving Hans Andersen looking at the 2 Pirates there, although he's trying an inside pass on Bjarne PEDERSEN and does come through, looking to shut the door. In fact, Hans trying an inside pass again. Now we're going to see some Hans physical racing. He tries to give Bjarne the heave-ho going up the straight, but Bjarne shuts the door on him beautifully, and it looks very much as if Jason Lyons comfortable out in front, Bjarne PEDERSEN second. They're going to totally negate the efforts of Mike Smiley to get back into this match, but the way Hans Andersen was looking to make a challenge there. He's already building up a reputation as something of a physical rider, and he did try a couple of times to give Bjarne PEDERSEN a bit of a nudge, make him well aware he's there, but with half a lap to go, the new European Grand Prix champion was having absolutely none of it, and Jason Lyons will be very much back in favour with Neil Middleditch, the rest of the Pirates, and the whole of Wimborne Road here as he takes the Pirates to a 5-1 in race number 5. Well, it's actually a 5-2 because nothing is quite that simple in Speedway these days. In fact, Hans Andersen gets 2 points for his third place, but it's 5 to the Pirates, who now lead by 21 points to 10. They really got their tails up tonight, and here's a standing ovation from a bumper crowd here. It's wonderful weather on the south coast. It's Whitsun week. They've turned out in their hundreds and thousands here because I would say biggest crowd of the season, at least 4,000 here at Wimborne Road tonight. The country's best supported Speedway team, and they're all here to cheer the Pirates home to a 5-2 heat win in race number 5. Heat number 6, can the Pirates build on this 11-point lead with Magnus in blue? Magnus ZETTERSTROM looked a little bit better in race number 1 than of recent weeks. Antonio Lindback in the red helmet on grid 3. A little bit of tape trouble at the moment, just being fixed. And for the Witches, Scott Nicholls and Daniel King on grids 2 and 4 respectively. So Scott Nicholls looking to make a challenge here on the Pirates duo. And Pirates obviously in great form tonight, but coming into this match they'd struggled against Coventry 7 days ago. Who would have thought that that match would have gone to a last heat decider? And I'm sure stadium bookmaker Mark Lamy would have not taken too many bets on a 47-45 result. I'm sure he cleaned up, but we're told that the most popular bet here this evening in this match is Pirates to score 50 points, and that's the shortest odds, 7-1 you can get for Pirates scoring 50. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to get the Elite League points here, and let's see if they can do that. We've got the tapes fixed now, so we're ready for race number 6. So this is Antonio Lindback's first match as the Pirates number 1. Got the weight of responsibility on his shoulders, not coming in from the reserve position. Of course, it does mean that apart from anything else, they won't be able to call on him for additional races. He's been in the habit of having 6 or 7 rides in recent matches, but he won't be able to do that now, and he'll just have his normal quota. Under orders, away they go then. Magnus ZETTERSTROM gets a good one from gate 1, but the IPSWICH Witches get a better one from grids 2 and 4, and it's Magnus trailing at the back there, but mounting a challenge on Daniel King, who was very lively on the first lap there, looking as if he was going to join Scotty Nicholls. But Antonio Lindback comes through to take second place. Magnus follows through the gap, or does he? Because Daniel King there is lively at the back, but Magnus said thank you very much from Antonio for opening up that gate. Scott Nicholls comfortably out in front, although Antonio Lindback has him in his sights, but with 1 lap to go, I don't think there's going to be too much change to the order of things, and we might have anticipated a drawn race here, although the Pirates really did have to fight for it. Half a lap to go then, Scotty Nicholls out in front for the Witches, Antonio Lindback in the red helmet for Poole in second, and Magnus ZETTERSTROM finishing third, 3 to each side, 24 to the Pirates, 13 to the IPSWICH Witches. So we're looking at Heat 7 now, and a reminder that Pirates with that 11-point lead have already passed the total or the advantage that they would need to regain in order to get the bonus point, because they lost by 7 up at Foxhall Heath earlier in the season. They're 11 up now, so a bonus point at this stage of the match after 6 completed races looking distinctly possible for Poole, but of course there's plenty can happen yet. Here we've got Ryan Sullivan in red on grid 2 and Daniel Davidsson, his new riding partner, at number 6 in the lineup in blue. Jesper JENSEN and Chris Leahy for the Witches, and Ryan Sullivan jets from the start. Daniel Davidsson gets another good one, and Ryan Sullivan sees his young Swedish partner round his outside. What a fantastic first bend that was from Davidsson there. Ryan Sullivan then sitting on the line to protect his young Swedish riding partner, and Jesper JENSEN and Chris Leahy look at this stage of the race as if they can do absolutely nothing about the Pirates 5-1, and this really would be consolidating an impressive victory and totally eradicating the memory of that disappointing performance, albeit just a match-winning one 7 days ago against Coventry, but nothing convincing about it. But everything convincing about the Pirates is played tonight, because with a lap to go, Daniel Davidsson looking in absolutely sparkling form. These are quality riders that he's heading home here in Jesper JENSEN and Chris Leahy, and Ryan Sullivan doing the team riding spot in second place there. I don't think he had to work very hard at any nurturing, because Daniel certainly knows how to look after himself around this track. And with that 5-1 maximum, the Pirates now, after 7 races, are 29 points to 14 in the lead, and looking at a victory which would maintain their place and consolidate their position at the top of the Elite League table.
And showing every faith that Mike and Matt put him on his shoulders in 2004. So come on in the home straight, Daniel Davidsson and Ryan Sullivan.
So on to Heat 8, and the Pirates 15 points to the good at the moment in a match that they need to win by 8 points or more to get the full 3 points in the Elite League out of this fixture. This time they're represented by Magnus ZETTERSTROM in red. The captain goes from grid 4, and his partner, the guest reserve, Brent WERNER, on grid 2 in blue. For the Witches, Trevor HARDING comes out for his third ride. Just got a third place so far and an exclusion for that first bend tumble. He's on grid 1. And he's in the yellow helmet. Kim Janssen in green goes from grid 3. That's the lineup then for Heat 8. Away they go, and all pretty even, although Magnus ZETTERSTROM jets across from 4, and Brent WERNER looks as if he's set up to join him, although Kim Janssen takes him on the pits corner, goes on a wider line, and those two riders racing it out, neck and neck, with Janssen on a wider line, Brent WERNER keeping it tight, and Brent WERNER making another inside challenge, going into turn 3 there, looking in very lively form tonight. Pirates will be happy with the heat advantage, seeing Magnus out in front. This is the very sort of race where Magnus is going to totally rebuild his confidence around the track, and he's out in front, and joining him, I think, in blue is Brent WERNER, although he got a little bit out of shape going in, having done the difficult thing and passed Kim Janssen up the inside. He got out of shape on turn 3, and he recovered superbly to follow home Magnus ZETTERSTROM, who's going to take the checkered flag, and that victory nod, I think you can take it, that Magnus thinks he's back. He takes a heat win. I'm not sure whether it's enough points in the bag to justify a spot of disco, but certainly the Pirates have got 5-1. They now lead by 34 points to 15. Any suggestion by the pre-match pundits that the Pirates are going to lose this one have been certainly scotched, because they are already looking as if they're well in the driving seat to win. Magnus is absolutely delighted to win a race around Wimborne Road, where in the recent couple of home matches he's been far from impressive with his riding. Well, everyone will be glad to see him back to form, and they were also delighted to see Brent WERNER as a guest rider for the second time, coming from behind to take an opposition rider and joining his Pirates partner up at the front. Well, it's the last throw of the dice for Mike Smiley and the IPSWICH Witches, because they've elected Scott Nicholls to have a tactical ride in Heat 9. He'll be going from grid 1, so that could possibly net 6 points. But I'm sure the Pirates have other ideas, because it's Bjarne PEDERSEN alongside him in grid 2, and Jason Lyons, a winner last time out, in grid 4. Scott Nicholls' riding partner this time is the youngster Daniel King, and he'll go from grid 3, so intriguing racing prospect here. Up go the tapes, and away they go, and Bjarne PEDERSEN pulls off another good gate from grid 2, and how often have we seen that? And not only that, we got Jason Lyons getting an even better one from grid 4, and at the moment they're out in front from Scotty Nicholls, So the second time that Ipswich have tried the tactical ride, and at this stage of the proceedings, it's not looking as if it's paying off. And well, you certainly wouldn't have put money on Scotty Nicholls trailing the two Pirates in this one. And half the race gone, Jason Lyons out in front, Bjarne PEDERSEN once again sitting on the line there and doing the team riding bit with Scotty Nicholls back in third. The Pirates looking at a 5-1, but the riding now very, very close indeed. Jason Lyons on the rider of the Whiting lines, and Bjarne PEDERSEN keeping it tight. Scotty Nicholls right on their tails, but it looks with half a lap to go as if the Pirates are going to get another 5-1, moving them into an almost unthinkable 39 points to 16 advantage, and they have done indeed. In fact, it's not a 5-1 again, I must remember from earlier in the proceedings, it's a 5-2, but the Ipswich Witches will be very disappointed indeed, because two tactical rides have netted them absolutely nothing. In fact, all they've done is double two third places with 2 points each instead of 2, and it means now the Pirates are well ahead, and the two Pirates coming around to take the well-earned praise from the crowd, and I'm sure Jason Lyons will enjoy that all the more after his recent disappointing scores. He's right back, and is this a sign of better things to come? We said before this match that the Pirates season was at the crossroads. I think they've successfully negotiated those crossroads, and they're looking at top spot in the Elite League. Well, a couple of seasons ago, Ipswich mounted the comeback of the year here, trailing quite significantly at the halfway stage and coming back to win by 2 points. That will be fresh in the, not fresh in the minds, but still in the minds of some of the Pirates faithful, but it doesn't look for one moment as if that's going to happen here tonight. But let's see what happens in Heat 10 with 39 points to 16. The Pirates, unbelievably, 23 points to the good after 9 heats. We've got Antonio Lindback in the red helmet going from grid 4, and his partner is Magnus ZETTERSTROM, who goes from 2. For the Ipswich Witches, can they rescue some pride with Chris Leahy on grid 1 and Jesper JENSEN the green on grid 3? Away they go, and it's a pretty even start, but Magnus ZETTERSTROM gets a good one from 2, and Antonio Lindback blasting around the outside, and they look as if they're into a potential 5-1 situation here with Chris Leahy in third and Jesper Jensen. Jensen, a rider who made a flying start to the season, including some very good Grand Prix scores, but at the moment he's looking completely out of sorts and he's way at the back, and the Pirates are out in front. Antonio Lindback in his new #1 position, much more difficult rides and probably less of them now that he's not in a position to be used as a tactical replacement, so he's going to make the most of the rides that he does get, and he put on a superb first bend there. He went from grid 4, but he kept the throttle screwed on, and he's now out in front. And good news also for the Pirates to see Magnus ZETTERSTROM capitalising on that useful start to join his Swedish partner for another 5-1. The Pirates are absolutely running away with it here. They're just putting in 5-1 after 5-1. The Witches have got absolutely no answer. Chris Leahy was third. Jesper Jensen was fourth. 44 points to 17. Any pre-match doubts well out of the window. Pirates are on their way to victory.
So come on, ladies and gentlemen, one more time in the home straight. Antonio Lindback and Magnus ZETTERSTROM. And here he goes, ladies and gentlemen. So, is he going to do the dance? Next time? Well, we'll have to have a word with him. Anyway, whatever matters, it's a 5-1 advantage for the division.
So on to Heat 11, it's 44-18 the score. I forgot to add on Scott's 2 points rather than 1 for his tactical ride. It's making very little difference in any real sense as far as the league points are concerned. And as we're on to Heat 11, we see Ryan Sullivan and Daniel Davidsson. 5-1 winners last time out, and this time they're out against Hans Andersen and Kim Janssen. So what answer have the Witches got? Pirates are on 1 and 3. Ryan Sullivan grid 1, Daniel Davidsson goes from 3, Hans Andersen goes from grid 4, and Kim Janssen from grid 2. It'll be interesting to see how Hans deals with the new Pirates Scandinavian favourite, Daniel Davidsson, the rider in blue helmet. They're very close together on grids 3 and 4 there. Interesting how they match up on the first bend. In fact, it's Hans Andersen who gets the better of that first bend. In fact, he's blasting around the outside of Ryan Sullivan and takes the lead. A good first bend there by Hans Andersen. Ryan Sullivan finishing, having to look at Hans Andersen ahead of him, which we might not have expected. Daniel Davidsson trailing there behind Kim Janssen, so a rare Witches heat win in prospect here, although Ryan Sullivan is trying very hard to get alongside Hans Andersen. Hans riding out in the dirt, Ryan Sullivan a slightly tighter line, but not a lot between those riders, not a lot between the riders in 3rd and 4th, although they're having their own private duel. Pirates then would go into the interval after heat 11, facing their first heat reversal of the day. Hans Andersen then rescuing some pride for the Witches. He's their only one of only 2 heat winners, but he wins heat 11 ahead of Ryan Sullivan. And Kim Janssen's 3rd place ahead of Daniel Davidsson makes the interval score then 46 to the Pirates, 22 to the Ipswich Witches.
Of tonight's proceedings, there he is, Ryan Van Schick.
Well, down here in the pits, as the guys are having a well-earned breather, I've got to say, Neil, what a difference 7 days makes. This is more what you would have hoped, I would expect.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, everybody in the team's pulling their weight tonight, and it just shows you how good we can be, and long may it continue.
I have to say, down here, the atmosphere with the new lineup, it's really looking good. The guys have got their heads up. They're really talking about it. They're thinking it through. It's exactly what the team need. Yeah, that's right. I mean, we've put some material on the track tonight, and it's for the guys who want to have a bit of a race. They can have a race. You know, last week, sort of, yes, I never sort of like to criticise the track too much, but you know, there just wasn't enough dirt on the outside. If you were brave enough to go around the outside, you just sort of go backwards. But at least tonight, there's some dirt there, and the boys who want to go out, they can get out there and get some drive. And the most important difference tonight is the guys are really getting out the starts, aren't they? Yeah, that's right. It's all important. But you know, having said that, you know, there's been a bit of passing tonight, and you know, the boys are all tigering down, and that's what it's all about. Everybody's pulling their weight tonight. Brilliant job. Okay, thanks very much. Well, great to see Magnus ZETTERSTROM back into form, and I've got to say a good night for you this evening as well. Yeah, that's right. It's unbelievable. The whole team have done really well, and we thought it's going to be much tougher against Ipswich tonight, but I think it had probably helped to had a few people kicking us ass, you know, saying we have not do so well. So finger crossed it's going to keep like this now and do well in the future. Well, I hope so, although we're going to be deprived of our last heat deciders that I know you and I like so much, but I think this is one that the fans are going to appreciate. That's right. I mean, it's so many people that have been disappointed for a while now, even if the team winning, but it has been a little bit too much of a 3 or 4 man's team so far, but that's Speedway, you know. You're winning sometime and you're losing sometime, and have a good night sometime, and that's the way it is. And of course, for you now, a change of number and out in the first heat. Are you happy about that? Yeah, I think it's easier to go out in heat 1 because for those of you that couldn't see that, just behind there, Ryan Sullivan. I'm not sure if he was exposing himself, but it certainly put a smile on this guy's face. Yeah, but that just shows what good team spirit we got, you know, that nobody let each other down. We have helped each other through this, you know, and that's nice because the whole team wants us to stay in the team, and we got a good team atmosphere, so that's how it should be. Absolutely right. Well done tonight. Keep it up. Thank you very much. I don't know if we finished that question off, but let it be then. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Well, down here, the atmosphere really has been fantastic in the pits, and I've got to say the new lineup certainly seems to be shaping up well. It's producing results on the track, and most of all, the guys have got their heads up. That's what it needs. We're going to go back to Graham now and finish this match off. So cups of tea have been quickly downed, and we're back on track for race number 12 with Jason Lyons in red, Brent WERNER in blue on grid 3, Jesper JENSEN on grid 4 in green, and Daniel King in the yellow helmet goes from grid 2. And Jason Lyons continues his fine run of form with a good start there. Jesper JENSEN looking to mount a challenge. Jason Lyons shuts the door him up the back straight, and he's out in front. Jesper JENSEN in second place, Brent WERNER at the back there, looking at Daniel King, and having a bit of a look for the possibility of a passing place. At the moment, he doesn't see it. Jason Lyons still holding off the challenge from Jesper JENSEN, but Jesper looking a bit more lively this time, perhaps the track having had an extra double grading in the interval.
It's a little bit more conducive for the away riders to mount a bit of a challenge, but with a lap to go, we've got Jason Lyons from Jesper JENSEN. Daniel King looks more comfortable in third place, and the Pirates looking to take a share of the spoils, although up the back straight, Jason Lyons has to concede the first place there. A fine pass by Jesper JENSEN, looking much more like the rider that we've had earlier in the season. He doubles his points tally from 3 to 6, and well, the Ipswich Witches continue with their late rally with another heat win, second on the trot, and that's a 4-2. It's 48 now to the Pirates, 26 to the Witches. So we're on to heat 13 now, and the Ipswich Witches have only provided 4 race winners this evening, but 2 of those race winners are here in this race, heat 13. Hans Andersen, he's had a couple of race wins, and Scott Nicholls has just had 1 from his 3 starts, but here they are on grids 1 and 3 respectively. It's Hans Andersen grid 1, Scotty Nicholls grid 3. For Poole, it's their new number 1, he's in the red helmet on grid number 2, Antonio Lindback, and the number 5 rider settled into the team nicely since he replaced Tony Rickardson, and that of course is Ryan Sullivan. He's on grid 4. That's the lineup then for the all-important heat 13, the Battle of the Giants, and on goes the green light, away they go, and good ride. In fact, so good the referee thought that it might have been a bit of a fly, because Ryan Sullivan there being pulled back. Referee Paul Carrington obviously not liking that one, and he's called all 4 riders back to the line for a restart. So they're coming back into line again for heat 13. 3 races to go then, and the Pirates 22 ahead. They need to win by at least 7 for the bonus point. That looks to be no problem, but here they go then. Ryan Sullivan once again gets a good start away from grid 4. Antonio Lindback looking to try and get through, but gets shut out there by Scott Nicholls, although Scotty having to... No, that's in fact not Scott Nicholls, it's Hans Andersen, but Hans Andersen coming through again to pass Antonio. What a ding-dong they're having at the back there, Hans Andersen and Antonio Lindback. Antonio got past, but Hans came back underneath him, and this time I think Hans is not going to be left that same opportunity. So Scotty Nicholls in second place, Ryan Sullivan out in front, but that bit of a ding-dong on the track there between Antonio and Hans looks as if it's going the way of Antonio with a lap to go. Pirates then on a 4-2 here, but you never know with Hans Andersen. He's not always the most popular rider around the tracks of his style, but he does give 100% entertainment, which is what we like in Speedway. But Ryan Sullivan gets points for Poole, and he does so once again there in heat 13, winning the race for the Pirates ahead of Scott Nicholls. Antonio Lindback takes the all-important third there ahead of Hans Andersen. 4-2 heat win, and it's 52 to the Pirates, 28 to the Witches. So the good news for the Pirates fans is 3 Elite League points. That's 2 for the win, 1 for the bonus, safely in the bag. 2 races remaining, not the nail-biting finish that we've had of recent matches here. Nevertheless, smiles on the face of everybody, and especially seeing Poole with an all-round team performance, not dependent on any group of riders, but they're all played their part in this victory this evening. In heat 14 we've got Bjarne PEDERSEN and Daniel Davidsson for Poole. Daniel in blue goes from grid 1, Bjarne PEDERSEN on grid 3. It's Chris Leahy and Trevor Harding, the pairing for Ipswich, with Chris Leahy on grid number 2 in the green helmet, and Trevor Harding goes from grid 4. So what can the Pirates do? They're looking... They've got their sights fixed on the 60-point total for the first time this season. You would never ever have thought that at the start of the proceedings, but such are the unpredictability of Speedway these days. And Chris Leahy gets out in front on the first bend. Daniel Davidsson on the tight inside line sees him go around him. Bjarne PEDERSEN tucked in third place, and right at the back Trevor Harding. So looks as if we've got a drawn race to look at here in heat 14. Davidsson and Bjarne PEDERSEN tucked in behind Chris Leahy. Chris Leahy out in front, but it's all far too late for the Ipswich Witches, although he is going to provide them with their 5th heat win of the evening. So a heat winner, that is, not a heat win, because Trevor Harding's way at the back there, and it looks very much as if that's the way it's going to finish here. So Chris Leahy has got his nose in front. He's got 1 point from his first 3 starts, so he's going to add a certain measure of respectability to his total, which is going up to 4 points. and with just one race remaining, the nominated Heat 15, the scoreline is moving to the Pirates 55, and the Witches 31.
Well, Chris Louis leaves it late, but gets a good win for his calls in heat number 14, and the Pirates just stacked in nicely behind him. So well done to Chris Louis, winning heat number 14, full of the official result to follow.
So we're on to race 15, and 1 minute ago the Pirates number 1, newly promoted in their lineup, Antonio Lindback, was watching the start of this race, or preparing to watch it, from the centre green. Next minute he gets the call up because Jason Lyons, who'd previously been nominated, was rejected by the referee under the nominated rider race rules. So tough on Jason Lyons, but Antonio Lindback gets the call up, and he rides in the blue helmet from grid 3 with Bjarne PEDERSEN on grid 1 for the Pirates. And for the 2 Witches this time, it'll be Scotty Nicholls and Jesper JENSEN. So that's how they line up for Heat 15. 55 points to 31, the scoreline in favour Poole. The Pirates have grids 1 and 3, although Ipswich did win the toss, and away they go with Bjarne PEDERSEN going from grid 1 and Scotty Nicholls straight out of the tape into the lead with Antonio Lindback and Bjarne PEDERSEN packing in the minor places there. And right at the back, you've got Jesper JENSEN. Antonio Lindback then having a right old ding-dong after that sprint across the centre green to take his place in the race. And he's now coming under pressure from Jesper JENSEN, and it's Bjarne PEDERSEN who's coming through to try and challenge Scott Nicholls. Scott Nicholls then out in front. Bjarne PEDERSEN right on his tail. Antonio Lindback, as he likes doing best, blasting around in the dirt. Jesper JENSEN at the back, and with 1 lap to go, it's a drawn race. The Pirates are going to take their total on to 58, if this is the way indeed that it's going to stay. Bjarne PEDERSEN then in second place. Oh dear, it's not going to stay like that, or is it? Because Antonio Lindback locks up on the pit stern, but recovers superbly to hold on to 3rd place behind his team partner. Scott Nicholls then the winner, and he'll be the top scorer with 12 points for the Witches, but the Pirates take the 3 league points with minor places there. 2nd going to Bjarne PEDERSEN and 3rd to Antonio Lindback. Final score in this absolutely convincing and scintillating Elite League victory: 58 points to the Pirates and 34 points to the Ipswich Witches. Absolutely wonderful stuff. And of course Scotty Nicholls and Bjarne PEDERSEN there taking the cheers of the crowd as we bring the curtain down on yet another great evening's racing here at Wimborne Road.
Well, it is success for the Pirates this evening, but I have to say, probably a little bit disconsolate. Mike Smiley from the Ipswich Witches, you must be disappointed.
Yeah, obviously we came here looking for a good result, at least to try and get the bonus point. 7 points to try and defend is an achievable target, especially when you've got the tactical ride rule, but unfortunately we just weren't at the races, and the series of 5-1s and 5-2 results in the middle of the match just really killed us off.
The Witches have been doing very well away from home. They've won more away matches than any of their rivals, but the last couple of matches, I mean, we saw them on Sky at Peterborough, perhaps not looking at their best there either.
Yeah, I mean, obviously tonight we had what we affectionately known as the B team. There's no Danny Bird, and that unfortunately means that Kim Janssen has to move into the team proper. And although he's been riding for us since 2002, you have to remember that in reality he's only really riding at these tracks for the first time. So when he's riding at number 2, which is notoriously hard, any points that he scores is always going to be beneficial, but also means that we're going to be weakened at reserve when we have to bring Trevor in.
Well, it's a long way to go, of course, and the playoffs are looming. We're only not even halfway through the season yet, but I'm sure the Witches are going to be up there or thereabouts.
Well, we certainly hope so. I mean, as I said on television a few weeks back, the trick is not to be in the playoff positions right now. It's to be in the playoff position in August, and preferably in the top 3, obviously.
Well, I'm sure you'll be there.
Well, I certainly hope so.
Yeah. Thanks for talking to us. Right. Well, Mike may well feel justified in his disappointment, but that 58-34 victory for the Pirates is just what the doctor ordered, and especially as it comes at the head of a busy week, and their schedule includes a visit on Friday night to Arena Essex, followed the following night on Saturday by a visit to Eastbourne, and then we're back here, not on Wednesday next week, but we're back on Monday, when we're joined by the Sky team for what coincidentally is our 3rd and final segment of action on this edition. Join us for that when we come back in a moment.
Look out for my profile, only on Pirate Videos. All of the action?
All of the time.